Hey folks, Mr. Quinn here with another IXL talk through video. Today we are going to be looking at finding the area of rectangles and squares. So hopefully area, immediately you're thinking the inside of a shape. Now what we need to be mindful of here is that we have to use a formula. We have to know, all right, this is how I find area. And hopefully in your mind, you know that area equals the length of a shape times the width of a shape. Now, the length of a shape and the width of the shape when it's a square is both going to be the same. Length is 5, width is 5. If it was a rectangle, they'd be different numbers, but I'd have to make sure that I'm choosing different sides. Doesn't matter which side you say is the length, as long as you're saying that the other side, the one that makes the right angle with it, is the width. So we can just do some really simple substituting. 5 times 5 is 25. And that would be our first answer. Now we're going to go through a couple different examples just to make sure that there aren't any surprises in what IXL is asking you to do. So here's the first one that we have to be careful about. This requires you to know that all sides on a square are equal. I'm even going to write that here as a reminder. All sides equal. Excuse me. That means that if this side is 10, this side is 10, this side is 10, and this side is 10. Now, I'm not interested in knowing that all the sides are 10. All I am interested in knowing is that I have to multiply two numbers. I have to multiply a length and I have to multiply a width. So my L times my W, my length right here, up and down, is 10. My width, because of the rules about what we know about squares, is also 10, and 10 times 10 equals 100, and my units are already written there for me. So I can go ahead and type in 100, and I'm going to get that question correct, which is great. All right, now we're going to get into something that is here that could trip us up. If you remember, we said that area equals length times width. Well, let's substitute in what we know. My length, I see right here, is 20. But when I look at my width, it just gives me a variable. Well, that means that I don't know what my width is. But I do know my area. So I'm going to write in the number that is given to me. I get 380. Now, this should look really familiar. It's an algebraic equation. So, draw my line. This is multiplication. So I'm going to do the opposite, which means I'm going to divide both sides by 20 to solve for my missing length. So that's the big difference. If you know the length and width, all you got to do is multiply them together. If you're given the area and you need to find a side, that is where you're going to have to do a little bit of extra work. You're going to have to do some algebra. You're going to have to write it down. And you're going to probably need a calculator. I'm going to use my phone for this one. I'm going to type in, I'm going to start with my number on top, 380, and I'm going to divide that by 20, and I get 19. So I'm going to write 19 there. This is all stuff that you should be writing on a piece of scrap paper as you solve each of these. You're really going to need to write these down. You're really going to need a calculator to get these right. But I know you guys are going to do great. So that was just a quick introduction into what the skill is going to look like. I know you'll do an awesome job, and I hope this video helps.